For the past 12 years, Michael van Valkenburgh Associates has been working to revitalize the Brooklyn waterfront with an ambitious plan to turn formerly neglected industrial land into a large park. Through a series of open expanses, meandering paths, and revamped piers, Brooklyn Bridge Park will eventually encompass approximately 70 acres and 1.3 miles of waterfront. We recently met with Michael van Valkenburgh at Pier 1, the first phase of the park, which was completed in March 2010.
So when we came here 12 years ago and we went behind these giant pier structures, when we went on the water side, we gasped, because until these buildings were all torn down, most people in New York had no idea that the best view of the harbor isn't from Manhattan at all, it's from Brooklyn. So, this whole question of, what a park provides is only more extraordinary, more magical, more boundless next to the water. And I suppose the first thing that we did was to change it from a, completely post-industrial flat site and to create this topography plus 26 feet at the middle. That's actually all the consequence of making the entire site accessible at 5% ramps for people in wheelchairs. So that kind of established the height. And then there's a divide between south and north, which is the south opens up and it just looks at the Statue of Liberty. And then the north frames itself on the base of the Brooklyn Bridge that's on the Brooklyn side. So it splits in the north-south direction, and then it also splits east to west, which is the west side in a very open way unfolds to the East River in the view. This is very introverted. This is more of a series of meandering trails. We've put this crunchy stone down. It slows everything down. And this is a series of water gardens that are created with recirculating water that comes from collecting rainwater on the site and storing it in a water bladder. One of the things that we really wanted to do was to see how far we could stretch the envelope on sustainability and reusing materials. Like you'll notice all the fence posts, they're actually locally harvested, certainly not in the borough, but in New Jersey and Pennsylvania, these are black locust trees. My dad was a farmer. He made all the fences on our farm out of this wood. And rather than using a kind of historic light fixture, we've used a more theatrical approach. Domingo Gonzalez, the lighting designer, created these huge poles which create this very soft light at night, but not the traditional brightness of like the luminaires in Central Park, the converted gas fixtures. People always ask me what's the difference between a park that Olmsted made in the 19th century and a park in the 21st century. And it's all about expectation of program. And I think it's really, Olmsted and all the park designers really since Olmsted have always made program work in a park, but I think this park is really driven by a very complicated and very conflicted set of aspirations about active versus passive. And I think one of the things that we've accomplished here through a kind of collage strategy of putting places together, the space that we're in here is, it's quite passive. It's got these crunchy paths, and then as the rest of the future phases unfold on down, the waterfront, there'll be one entire 5-acre pier devoted to court sports, basketball, tetherball, handball, and at the end there will be a really complicated set of different program offerings. But it's not that parks are escapes from the city, they're escapes in the city. And I think escaping and the kind of play of our imagination that comes along with the act of, disentangling ourselves from the otherwise regular rhythms of our lives in the city are really what a place like this is about.